for Keenan McCardle. Let's go to New York now for an update. Greg Gumbel at NFL Live.
And what they'll remember from Puerto
Billy Joe Tolliver of Houston, 11 yards to Haywood Jeffries. Field goal on each side. And it's the Oilers with a 10-3 lead late in the first quarter at Cincinnati, Tom.
All right, Greg, and 10-0 Browns here with just over a minute left in the first quarter. 3rd and 6 for Cleveland. Rippon's pass is complete to the tight end Brian Kinchin, who has wrestled back after picking up the first down. Greg Jackson got him, but a 12-yard gain as Brian Kinchin makes only his 7th reception of the season.
Well, I tell you, there's nothing wrong with Mark Rippon's arm. There were plenty of questions about whether or not he had the same kind of zip on the football that he once had when he played with the Washington Redskins. I watched him in pregame warm-up, and he is throwing shots. Had all that bad weather to deal with in that game against New England last week, but so far in this one, he's been brilliant.
Great start, as you see. Pumps and goes deep. Carrier down the sideline is almost intercepted. Greg Jackson had a clear shot at it, as that time Rippon's arm was too strong. He overshot his man, and Jackson nearly picked it off.
The pump fake has been such a big play. I talked to Steve Crosby, the offensive coordinator, just before the ball game, and really it has been Eric Allen who has been burned on more of those pump fakes so far this year. They feel like these Eagles defensive backs really like to jump on the first move of the receiver, so they're going to give them a couple of double moves today and test them down the field.
Intended for Metcalf. Rippon's pass is incomplete. Evans and Jackson had double coverage on Eric.
And that was a bad read that time by Mark Rippon. They absolutely were going to take Eric Metcalf out of that play. He needed to come off of Metcalf and look somewhere else.
So now it's 3rd and 10 for the Cleveland Browns. Just a few seconds left in this first quarter, 8 to be exact.
But Carson's defense needs to make a stand. They haven't stopped Cleveland yet.
Rippon, short completion to Carrier, dives close to the first down, perhaps half a yard short. William Thomas made the tackle. It'll be very close to first down yardage.
And what a job by those big guys up front for the Cleveland Browns. One of the better pass rushing teams in the NFL did not even get close to Mark Rippon. These guys have been dominating up front for Cleveland.
Taking a good long look to see whether Carrier did pick up the first down. That'll be the last play of the quarter, but they may measure to see if he did indeed pick it up. It looked as if he went down just a bit short, but they're going to bring the chains out.
You have to believe that Cleveland will punt if, in fact, it is short. 10-0 lead. You can't take a chance to give Randall Cunningham in this offense that kind of field position.
So it did come up just short, and the second quarter will start with a 4th down for the Browns. They're up 10-0 on Philadelphia. The first 2 citizens of Philadelphia on hand for the game today. Jeff Lurie, the owner of the Eagles, the new owner of the Philadelphia franchise, and Bill Cosby, the Cos, giving him some advice right there on how to get this offense on track.
Cos saying you need to rehire Rich Kotite. Now, don't even think about doing anything else.
Browns will go for it, 4th and less than a yard. Might be just trying to draw them offside as they did earlier in the game. And then a timeout taken. It didn't work. Well, speaking of Jeffrey Lurie, the new owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, he was chatting away with Marianne Grabavoy at practice yesterday. Marianne?
Thank you, Tom. Yes, he was at the walkthrough yesterday. He bought the Eagles in May of this year for $185 million. It's the highest price ever paid for any sports franchise. He grew up in Boston, and he wanted to buy the Patriots at the beginning of the year. He was outbid by Robert Kraft, and he said that stung. A couple months later, he ends up buying the Eagles, and he says to me yesterday, $185 million. I said, how much fun have you had for $185 million? He says, well, at 7-2, I'd say we're up at about $140 million. At 7 games, that's $20 million of fun a game. I said, well, what would constitute $185 million worth of fun? He said, Marianne, one thing only. That's the Super Bowl. Gentlemen, back to you.
See the cause react there. I think it might be down to about $100 million fun after this first quarter.
And falling if things don't get any better.
First punt of the day upcoming for the Cleveland Browns. Try to draw the Eagles offside. It didn't work. Tom Tupa in punt formation with Jeff Seidner deep. There is Tupa. Seidner standing at about the 10-yard line. And a low punt from Tupa. Seidner from the 13. Got away from the first man, but not the second or third. Good open field tackle made by Sutter of the Browns. A 38-yard punt, only 4 yards on the return. The Eagles will have the ball in a 10-0 game when we return to the vet. Welcome back to Philadelphia, where it's been total domination by the Cleveland Browns early.
Look at those 8 yards total offense for the Philadelphia Eagles, on pace for 32 yards in this game.
10-0 Cleveland. Randall Cunningham's pass is complete to Calvin Williams, taken out of bounds at about the 25-yard line by Antonio Langham.
The Browns like to play a two-deep zone defense, and ordinarily it's something that you really can't have much success throwing underneath. But Zeke Rakowski, the offensive coordinator for the Eagles, said that their corners fall back so far out of that defense, and they want to help their safeties deep, that you can, in fact, work the wideouts underneath. That's exactly what happened on that play.
There's Zeke, standing next to head coach Rich Kotite, involved in calling the plays. Second and short, Hebron hit behind the line, got away, and made it back up close to the first down marker.
Carl Banks came over to clean that one up. And one of the things that the Cleveland Browns did this offseason that I really liked, people doubted, and I doubted, whether or not Carl Banks and Pepper Johnson were still viable players in the National Football League, but you bring Super Bowl rings onto this defense. Carl Banks, Pepper Johnson, Don Griffin. This is a veteran bunch now, and they have been rock solid so far.
First down, Philadelphia. Ball at their own 26-yard line. They trail 10-0. Opening minutes of the second quarter. Hebron tried to cut back and was caught from behind. The pursuit got there in a hurry from Rob Burnett.
Just so important to have guys on your football team that have been there before. The Super Bowl experience now is really coming to the forefront with Mark Rippon at the quarterback position. The only one of those guys not a starter, Ernest Biner, and he has certainly filled in some valuable moments so far for the Browns this season.
Carl Banks, one of the NFC refugees.
Great game last week, 10 tackles.
Quick toss, broken up, intended for tight end Maurice Johnson, and Stevan Moore popped him just as the ball got there to knock it free.
Everyone always wants to talk about Eric Turner, and no question about it, Eric Turner is a tremendous safety on this team. But Stevan Moore, over the last couple of years, has really established himself as a big hitter. And when you get popped between Stevan Moore and Pepper Johnson, that is not a comfortable place to be. You see all the emotion, too, out of Pepper Johnson and Stevan Moore. This is a defense that thinks they can dominate.
Third leading tackler for the Browns in his 6th year from Mississippi, Stevan Moore. Herschel Walker in motion on a third down play. Walker can't get free, so Cunningham decides to run and fumbles the football. Rob Burnett is the man that hit him, and the ball came free, but it will be another punt for the Philadelphia Eagles.
And it looks like Bernard Williams, I can't really see the number. Not Bernard Williams, Antone Davis down.
Starting left guard for the Eagles.
And Antone Davis has made the adjustment to that left guard position, has played fairly well since the move.
We'll be back. Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia, where Brian Barker has just shanked a punt. And things going totally wrong for the Eagles so far in the game.
Well, Barker has certainly helped the situation with the punting duties for the Eagles. Mitch Berger was a disaster here in Philadelphia, and now Barker living up to Berger standards.
That one only covered 18 yards. Did get a bit of a bad snap from John Hudson.
After the play is over, we got unsportsmanlike on the kicker. He threw his helmet. That's 15 yards. First down.
Well, that's insult to injury, or vice versa. Throw your helmet and get 15 yards, which makes it a net 3-yard effort.
Somebody's liable to throw Brian Barker.
It could be that man.
You know, kickers just don't get in the way. Don't get in the way. Don't do anything stupid. Shanks a punt, throws his helmet, hurts his football team. Inexcusable. You won't find many friends over there either.
Yeah, I suspect it's going to be a lonely sit on the bench. So the Cleveland Browns take over with the ball at the Eagle 36-yard line. Randy Baldwin to the 30. Let's go to Marianne Grabavoy for an update on the injured Antone Davis.
Yeah, Antone is on the sidelines now. Otho Davis, the Eagles trainer, is working on him. From where we see it, looks like he got poked in the right eye. We'll get you more information when we get it. Back to you.
All right, Marianne. Antone is, as you see, being looked at on the bench. Meanwhile, the Eagles having trouble with the Cleveland Browns, and it's 2nd and 5 after Baldwin ripped off 5 on first down. Mark Rippon has a wide open man. First down on the completed pass to Kinchin. Byron Evans spun him down.
Byron Evans sort of playing center field, watching it unfold. A lot of crossing routes so far by the Cleveland Browns. His job to pick up Kinchin. It's there just a little bit too late. And for these Eagles, they need to wake up. I think that they're still slumbering after that win over Buddy Ryan and the Arizona Cardinals. Such an emotional game last week. Clyde Simmons, Seth Joyner coming back in here. So far, they're sleepwalking through this.
Leroy Horde to the 20 and just inside it. Tackled by Andy Harmon. Marianne?
Yeah, I was speaking to Bud Carson yesterday, and he said, you know, I wish this Browns game weren't tomorrow. He said, you know, coming between the two Arizona games, he was worried about a letdown. He's been in this, you know, the NFL for 20-some years, and he was thinking about retiring last year when the Eagles finished 17th overall in defense. He said, you know, I couldn't end my career that way. He actually resigned. He gave them his resignation. The Eagles said, hey, Bud, think about this. We really need you back. He said, I came back this year for 2 reasons. 1, I didn't want to end my NFL career on a low note. And 2, all the Eagles assistant coaches, their contracts come due in February of '95. He said, this is a really important year for them. I've got to stick in there. I've got to help them with their future. It was a very magnanimous gesture on the part of Bud Carson. Gentlemen.
All right, a big third down coming up for the Cleveland Browns. 3rd and 2. Griffin's pass, great catch by Metcalf. First down, Cleveland, as Eric Metcalf went upstairs to grab it. Out of bounds just short of the 10-yard line, about the 12.
Always dangerous, and anytime on 3rd down as a defensive team, you know you have to spot number 21 first. I really thought William Thomas had fairly decent zone coverage on Eric Metcalf. There was such a small little hole to throw the football, but Mark Rippon once again showing his arm strength.
First down, Cleveland. Ball spotted at the Eagle 12. Cleveland already up 10-0. Leroy Horde looks for a hole and finds it. Still battling as a flag goes down. A late flag. Horde is to the 3-yard line where Greg Jackson finally gets him to the turf with help from Mark McMillan. But it may be coming back.
Holding number 77. 10 yards. Repeat first down.
Costly hold by big Orlando Brown, 6'7", 325 pounds, getting his second start this week, as you mentioned, Chris. And has done a good job, but this is a costly holding penalty.
Yeah, Orlando Brown that time working on the right side, and Steve Everett really had the block that hurt Byron Evans. Evans was coming on a blitz in the middle of the field, and Steve Everett just kept pushing him and kept shoving him and knocked him back over the ball carrier.